Greetings and salutations. Welcome to another episode of 365 Days of Gaming. I appreciate you taking our time to check out this video. Feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Helps us out a lot and it's much appreciated. So one of the things that I've really enjoyed about this series is introducing new series or new games to people who haven't heard of them before. It's really cool because I've enjoyed these games and, I never hear people talking about certain ones. So I really like when I can introduce them to you. So I got one for you today. And the best way I can describe it is Dragon's Lair updated, but with Resident Evil tank controls. We're talking about Fear Effect. Now, some of you may be asking yourself, Darius, what is Fear Effect? And let me give you a quick synopsis without going into too much, because if you haven't ever heard of this game, I don't want to spoil it for you. It's a pretty decent story. Just based on what I'm going to show you today, you're going to play Hannah, who is a mercenary of sorts, and the leader of the Triad's daughter has been kidnapped, and you're in like this neo Hong Kong futuristic type thing, as you can see, right? And this is a tank style control game, so it takes a second to get used to, but a lot of the animations and scenes are like this cell shaded / 3D pre-rendered environment, so it's a great presentation, right? And what I mean by the Dragon's Lair concept is there are a lot of things that you have to do. Basically, you have to die before you know what to do. And you're going to see a lot of those. So there's a lot of different death sequences in this game based on you not doing something before you did something, or doing it in the wrong order. Or in some cases, you're trying to fight enemies while somebody is sitting in a chair with a bomb strapped to their chest. And you may, inadvertently slightly shoot the bomb trying to shoot the enemies. So it doesn't have the greatest of controls, as you can see. It's not like, it's not smooth. We're nowhere near the stage of Resident Evil 4's control. So we're in what I call peak Resident Evil 2 control schemes. And that's not the best compliment, right? So it takes a second to get used to. But if you are once you get used to it, right, you start to not think about it as much, and you start to be able to work within the confines of the game to do what you need to do. Like there's a nice little dodge and roll feature, which you could basically avoid damage if you know how to time it and know what you're doing. The only thing that gets messed up is if you miss, you mess up your aim and you kind of put yourself in a weird position, and then you're like me and you turn to the left thinking you're gonna turn to the right, but not quite, and you end up getting killed. And that's just par for the course. So the game over screen, you're going to see a lot if you play this game, again, because you don't know what you don't know. You got to go over there. You got to see what's up. You got to figure it out. So just get used to it. Like I said, it's Dragon's Lair, right? Like, how many times did you play Dragon's Lair where you didn't die within the first 30 seconds? It was like, oh, I didn't know we was doing it like that. That's kind of the theme here. But of course, there's going to be some espionage. There's going to be some backstabbing. There's going to be some double crossing going on in this game. The cool thing is you do play other characters. And I know this sounds crazy, but when my cousin Pierre first told me about this game, the thing that he said is like, oh, it's 4 discs. Now, I know that doesn't mean a lot to anybody at this stage, but you got to understand, back then on the PlayStation, a game with multiple discs, it has to be good. Otherwise, why does it have multiple discs? And I'm not saying this game is great because it has multiple discs, but I'm saying this game is pretty solid and it's 4 discs. So there's also like a mini kind of achievement system going on with those games. At least that's how it was for me. A game had multiple discs. My thing was I kind of, have these checkpoints, right? Every time it tells you to insert the new disc, it's like, oh yeah, in addition to getting further in the game, I've knocked the disc out, 1 down, 3 to go in this case with Fear Effect. But I like how the pre-rendered backgrounds work with the cell shaded character. I think that's something that I would like to see again. I think when I saw games like Beyond Good and Evil, which is made by the same company, DanniGhost, it always made me think of Fear Effect because it was, trying to have this kind of sort of Ghost in the Shell animation mixed in with the pre-rendered backgrounds, again, of the Resident Evil fate. So, it's cool. It has a very unique look to it. I don't remember any other game taking that kind of visual approach, especially back then. Now, there probably are some PC games that I don't know about that somebody will tell me about, and that's cool. But I'm talking about for home console users. Like I said, the combat, don't say much. You're gonna see me die a lot, okay? And I left these deaths in on purpose. I didn't want to make it come across like I'm the super gamer. I never want to make it seem like I'm just, you know, going through these games, no damage clearing them. I get folded a lot. And in a game like Fear Effect, you have to be okay with dying because you are going to die, right? It's just a matter of how, when, and how many times. So you'll see that happen. But I also think that like there's something to be said to having all these different death animations. I always think that that's a small piece of presentation that can do a lot to make a game seem better than, I don't say seem better than what it is, but it gives it extra points, at least in my book. And I'm big on presentation. So anything a game can do in that department, I'm always a big fan of. Now the game isn't necessarily long because it has 4 discs. I think it totals like 10 hours max. But you know, again, the base story is you're mercenaries. You out here trying to find this young lady, and along the way, people do things that they're not supposed to, and you know, you gotta deal with the consequences of that. For example, my man gets the bomb strapped to his chest, and as you're going to see several times, I'm going to attempt to kill the people in the room, but also not shoot him. But it doesn't work out too well. But yeah, then you go right in from fighting these dudes to doing a disarm sequence, which if you do it wrong, which I did the first time, you got to do the whole part over. So there is some slight irritation that goes on with that. But again, trying to see the next scene, trying to get the next piece of the puzzle, it's one of those type of games. Like I enjoyed the process of this game. I didn't beat this game, got to like the 3rd disc if I remember correctly. But I always remembered it, but I never heard people talking about it. And when I brought up the name, a lot of times people would look at me and be like, what are you talking about? What's Fear Effect? And then I would show them, they would go, yeah, I think I might have saw something about this, like, you know, but you know, who cares? And I'm like, no, this is a pretty solid game, you know, give it a shot. Especially if you were a fan of the Resident Evil style action games of that time, of the late 90s. And, you know, if you're a fan of, was it post-apocalyptic, but like, you know, not necessarily everything's bad visually, but you can still tell that this version of like Neon Hong Kong is kind of a shithole, right? So that always give me points for any sort of media, whether it's a movie or a game. If the surrounding areas is kind of slummy and it's in the future, I'm kind of in. But yeah, if you played this game, let me know if you beat it. Because I want to, tip my hat to you for making it through and knocking out 4 whole discs for 1 game. And if you haven't, again, I definitely say give it a shot. I'm not sure how you're going to play it other than purchasing it through, eBay, or if you find a shop that has some PlayStation games, you might be able to find it. I don't think it's too expensive if you find it. But yeah, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. As always, appreciate you checking out the video. Have fun. Be safe. Peace.